Well, I waited. For 100 years, I waited in cotton fields, kitchens, and balconies, in bread lines at back doors, on chain gangs, in stinking colored toilets and crowded ghettos. Outside of schools and voting booths, and some said later, and some said never. Then a new wind blew, and a new voice rode its wings with quiet urgency, strong, determined, sure. No, it said, not never, not later, not even soon, now. Walk. And other voices echoed the freedom words. Walk together, children, don't you get weary, whispered them, sang them, prayed them, shouted them. Walk. And I walked the streets of Montgomery until a link in the chain of patient acquiescence broke. Then again, sit down. And I sat down at the counters of Greensboro. Ride, and I rode the bus to freedom. Kneel, and I went down on my knees in prayer and faith. March. And I'll march until the last chain falls, singing, we shall overcome. Not all the dogs and hoses in Birmingham, nor all the clubs and guns in Selma can turn this tide. Not all the jails can hold these young black faces from their destiny of manhood, of equality, of dignity, of the American dream 100 years past due. Now, then a new wind blew, and a new voice rode its wings with quiet urgency. Strong, determined, sure. No, it said, not never, not later, not even soon. Now. Now, when Naomi Long Magic wrote Alabama Centennial in 1965, she didn't know where we'd be in 2015. There have been a lot of nevers in the Deep South. Slavery would never end. Jim Crow would never end. We'd never have marriage equality. There have been a ton of nevers. But one never that does not exist is the fact that we can end HIV/AIDS in the Deep South. So a new wind is blowing, and the new wind is requiring us to end tokenism in the work that we do. It's requiring us to fully engage the community that's living with HIV and AIDS, not when it's convenient for us, not when the grant so requires, but at every phase of everything that we do. There's a new wind blowing that's requiring us to mentor a new generation of leaders who are passionate about ending HIV and AIDS, who are representative of the communities that are most severely impacted, so that the leadership can reflect the epidemic. There's a new wind blowing that requires us to treat the entire person, not just the HIV. There's a new wind blowing that requires us to acknowledge trauma, whether it's an individual's life experience or systemic trauma of living in the Deep South. There is a new wind blowing that requires us to hold one another accountable and not be defensive when we do so, because we all should have the best for those that we are serving at heart. There is a new wind blowing that requires us to meet our clients and community where they are, not just where we're comfortable. There is a new wind blowing that will require us to address oppression and violence suppression. There is a new wind blowing that will require us to address bigotry at every stage in order to deal with the needs of those that we are charged to serve. So the new wind is blowing. The community is waiting. We are responsible, so we can sail with it. We can blow along with it, embrace it and where it takes us, and take others along with us, or we can be knocked down by it. So do we want to be blown down, or do we want to stand up? So I'd ask you to say after me, not never,
not never,
not later,
not later,
not even